All right, we are live. Yes, super excited. I am super excited. Hey, Rise and Thrive entrepreneurs. I am excited. Today is extra special because we're shining a spotlight on one of our amazing womenpreneurs. And as always, I want you, listen, I want you to drop a question or a comment as we go because engagement adds so much value to our community. So today I have the pleasure of, drum roll, talking with Renee Linsom, and I'm super excited. Renee is a powerhouse entrepreneur from my community, and she's here to share her journey, some insights, and a little bit more about her business. So, welcome, Renee. Let's jump right in. How are you doing today?
I am fabulous. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Super excited to be chatting with you. Super duper
Yes.
excited. So, to start off, tell us about the spark behind your business. What inspired you to take that leap and create your own venture?
It was something that I never thought about, but hanging out with some very wonderful people that were like, and it helps you to look inward. And so I said, I've always been a writer. I've always been a writer, but I never thought about doing it for other people. Never ever thought about it. I kind of was like, I'll just do this for me. It's just something I like to do as a hobby. I'll just keep it over here. But then I said, well, words come very easy to me. But then I also thought sometimes words don't come easy for everybody else. There are some
Yeah,
people that actually loathe writing. And it's crazy for me because I'm like, how could someone loathe writing? But it because I love it so much, I'm like, and I thought, there's a place to help other people that words don't come easily. So that
exactly.
if you give me a situation, I'm in probably about a minute, I'm coming up with I have something. Um,
Wow.
and
That is
so
amazing.
that's my mind moves very, very quick.
So would you say that that's a gift that you have?
I would. And I think it's always been that way.
Mhm.
It's when people are like, okay, well, we don't know what we're gonna do. And I'm like, well, what about this? Have you thought about this? Well, we're not yeah. And it's
Wow.
basic to me, but for someone else, they're like, oh. And I'm like, wow, okay. Um, but writing does that for me. I'm like, okay, sometimes I have to go right back here in the back of my brain and I'm like, oh, there it is, and I have to pull it up here, but it's there somewhere.
And and the thing is, like you said, it doesn't come that easy for everyone. And the fact that you're leaning into it is absolutely amazing and phenomenal. Um, my next question for you, Renee. So every entrepreneur, we all know this, every entrepreneur faces hurdles. And so my question is, in your early days, what were some of the biggest challenges that you face? And then more importantly, how did you tackle them? Give us some insight on that.
One thing I'll say is, you have an idea of when you're starting a business how much you are wanting to charge.
Mhm.
There's a lot of research that goes into that because you're like, okay, what's the typical? Where do I need to start? If this starting here, where do I need to go right here or where? And I had people that flat out said to me, "Well, that's too high. That's too high. I'm not willing. I'm not willing." But like case in point, I had someone that wanted me to write their book. And I'm like, okay, all right. She told me what she wanted to be about. And so I'm thinking in my head, okay, this is time, money. And she wanted it in like 3 months or like 2 months. And so I said, I'm going to be devoting a lot of time. She
Mhm.
wanted to pay me $100.
What?
And I said, scratched my head and I was like, no, no, because you want this book expedited quickly, but yet you're gonna let me have my creativity, which is great. However, you're only going to pay, and I'm like, that means that's time away from other things that I can be doing. I have to eat, and I have other things to do. But she only wanted to pay $100.
Just for expediting was just the expediting part, not even the other part. Just the expediting at least was 2,500.
Right.
At
Exactly.
least. That's not including everything else. That's just to expedite it.
Exactly. But that's what, and she was low and unlimited. And I thought, you're not there to get a book written, because if you want a ghostwriter, you're gonna need to lay out a certain amount of money, and $100 is not even worth the investment.
So what was
So
your response to her? Like, I mean, did you kind of like chop her at the throat? Did you, how did you handle that? Were you professional? Because I'm just thinking how I would have handled it, and it probably wouldn't have been good at all. I'm just
you
gonna be
know, you know what, dear, I had to be like, this is not for me. And I was very straightforward, but I was just like, no, no, this isn't, no. Mm-mm.
yeah.
And I was like, I wish you the best of luck, but I'm not the right one for you. And when you have a business, that's one of the big things
Mm-hmm.
is you want everybody to grab your service. And I know that your service is going to be excellent, top notch, but not everyone is going to buy from you. Not
Right.
everybody is going to. And you have to understand that it's not personal. Like they say in The Godfather, it's not personal. This
Right.
is this is business, and it doesn't mean that your business is whack. It just means that some people want something for nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the time that we're living in. People are like, oh, well, I want 40% off. And I'm like, even at 40% off, there's still a lot of money, as people don't want to spend that.
And that brings really, so I'm standing. I have to stand for a little bit every day because I had to go to the chiropractor because
Oh,
it was pretty bad. But that brings up a really good point, especially in our community, Rise and Thrive Womenpreneurs community. I say this all the time, it's better to give more than you receive, because in your receiving, you're going to get what you need. And so, we have to understand that even in that giving, you know, we can't cut people down with what we specifically want or need. There was an article recently over the last few days that I saw where they were saying Meek Mill, who is, I'm pretty sure he's a billionaire now.
oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure he's a billionaire now, but they said that he was at some location somewhere and he was trying to talk down the business owner on their prices for like apparel or something like that.
Oh,
And
wow.
the business owner stood his ground and was like, no, I'm not going to do that. And he said, my prices are my prices. And Meek Mill kept telling him, well, you could I could come back and buy more. I could buy you out. I can send more people. You can use this as a commercial, blah, blah, blah. And the guy was like, my prices are my prices. If you are a billionaire, you understand what it's like to start from the bottom up. You need to be able to pay this man his prices and move on. And what the man ended up doing was taking the video of Meek Mill trying to talk him down and use that as a commercial anyway.
Smart.
Y'all better quit playing with people's money. You can't do this. It's not right.
And and that's why, like, even the prices that I have in my business, you still get a whole lot for the price. There's no problem with over delivering. I think every business should do that, because when you over deliver, then that's what keeps people coming back in. And when they're like, oh wow, I really appreciate this, they want to keep coming, because you're like, okay, well, you want a book written for me? Well, I'm going to do some coaching right along with you. I'm going to help you to realize what your dreams are. I'm going to help you to go a little bit that extra mile, but it's all because you continue to sign up with me, and that's a blessing. But over delivering is great, but do not undervalue. I learned that big time, because there was one person literally right at the beginning that I took her offer, and it was complete. I completely undervalued myself, and I took the offer, and because I was what it had been just a few months, and I was like, okay. And of course, she's still a great contact. I still keep in contact with her, but I'm like, I won't do that again to
Yeah,
myself, because you put out that energy of what you are worth, and
exactly.
other people are going to be like, oh, okay, if she did this, then she could do my book for $150. And I'm like, no.
Right, right.
So
Hey, Amy, thank you for joining. We really appreciate it. Drop any questions you have. Thank you. So my next question, Renee, is your success is it's evident, it's obvious, and we want to learn. We're eager to learn from you. Could you share maybe some pivotal strategies or tips that played a role in your business growth? Don't give away the farm. Don't give away the farm, but just some strategies.
first things, write down, okay? And I know that seems like a small thing, but write down what it is that you are wanting to do. Now, for me and my business, that means Renee had to come up with a business plan. I literally had to write out, like, okay, all right, what is it that I'm going to do with this business? Write it down, because when you write stuff down, then you give it a voice, and you're going to give it legs to be able to manifest whatever it is that you're wanting to do. Manifestation is so key when you have a business, any kind of business. Two, start to research exactly where your business is going,
Mm-hmm.
because let's say this, we all love Netflix. We love, um, what I'm saying, oh my gosh, Hulu. But I'm a little bit older, so I remember when it was Blockbuster Video and Hollywood Video. I remember that. But those businesses did not make it to today, because they didn't see a Netflix. They didn't see a Hulu coming. So you have to make sure that your business is where it is going to thrive, not just for 5 years, but how about for 5 decades? How about that? How about a generational business, and something that somebody can take and go a little bit further? It can keep going further. I think sometimes we underestimate and just put stuff like, oh, well, how about just for the span of life that I'm going to be here, but what about the next generation?
Absolutely. And hey Lindsay, thank you for joining. Drop any questions that you have. And it's so pivotal what you're saying, simply because I remember Blockbuster. I remember Blockbuster from way back in the day. I'm a little aged.
I'm
So
with you.
I remember Blockbuster, but the thing is, like you said, they could not see ahead. And so the thing with that is not being able to see ahead. It doesn't mean you can foretell the future or anything like that, but be willing, be open to seeing where it can go. Blockbuster, let me tell you the thing that happened with Blockbuster. Blockbuster was so focused on the amazingness that was happening in that moment that they failed, like you said, to look ahead. But Blockbuster was so focused on the fact that they had kids in high school that was hanging out in their stores. They
Mm-hmm.
had families that were coming to get their weekend movies. That it was the place for single people to meet. It was the place for so many people and so many demographics, so many dynamics that they were only focused on their right now. And because
Yes.
they focused on their right now, they couldn't see the future.
And it's crazy because my mother used to work at Blockbuster, and I remember going to her job and being like, "Woo!" And it was jam packed in there, especially like you said on Fridays. But now we see those businesses. You can tell even now when you see an old Blockbuster video, you can tell because you're like, "Yep, that used to be a Blockbuster," but and Netflix didn't even start off as the Netflix we know. We
Exactly.
just saw it, and they were mailing DVDs.
Yes.
This I got to meet the CEO. He used to be
Wow.
CEO of Netflix, and he's like I just mailed somebody a CD to see if they would get it and if there was any scratches, and that's how they came up with the concept,
Wow.
just like that. And so I'm like, in just that span, they put all those places that we know that we knew out of business. But you have to keep that. It's technology is changing. Even for me as writers, and we have Chat GPT that has come out, and people are like, well, it's gonna put us writers out. And I'm like, not
Done.
if you get not if you get in front of it, it
Exactly.
won't.
Exactly. Exactly. It can actually help you if
Right.
you really do what you need to be doing. And so Amy says that she says, I love that. I struggle to see my business that far in the future. Such great advice. She also says, I work hard to live in the moment and need to expand my thinking to what I want my business to look like in the future. Such a great example. So this is really hitting home. I absolutely love this conversation because I think it is absolutely needed. This is something that sometimes, I say this all the time, and I started saying this back when I was in corporate America. I tell people, I was in high level leadership in corporate America. And so there's just some things that I took from that I still live by. And the fact that we don't know what we don't know can sometimes hurt us and harm us. And so, as we continue to move through these business spotlights, this is the reason why these two comments that Amy has said, these are one of the reasons why I want to have these business spotlights. It is absolutely yes to highlight the business owner, their products and services, what they've got going on, but everybody has a different story. Everybody
Mhm.
has a different journey that they have taken. Everybody has a different perspective. And so I want to be able to show all of this so that we can lift one another up.
That's right.
When that tide is coming through, it can lift every one of us up. And so I love this. Thank you so much, Amy, for your transparency and
Yes.
sharing that with us. Renee, did you have any words of wisdom? I do have two last questions for you, but no rush. Do you have any words of wisdom that you want to share with Amy?
I will say this, do not overthink.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh, do not overthink. Now, of course, we have things that we have to do on a day by day basis with our business, but also look at that's why writing the vision for what you want to do, and then being like, okay, well, how next step, how what does that look like for my business, what does that, and but do not overthink and be like, oh, just gradually just write certain things down. You may not understand it right then in that moment, but you may come back to it and be like, oh, okay, now I can see how far that how this is going to look like.
Mm-hmm.
So do not overthink it, because
Absolutely.
it's you're going to drown yourself before you even have a chance to thrive,
Mm.
because you're going to be too busy like, oh my god, just breathe and be
Absolutely.
like, okay, all right, because I'm thinking like, okay, what is my business going to look like in 5 years? What is mine going to look like in 20 years? Just relax and just write. Just write some things down. Come back to it. You might go even into more depths, but just relax and you got it.
And Amy says further, thank you. I'm the queen of overthinking. And so this is again another example of why we have the Rise and Thrive Womenpreneurs community. Because we should be able to come here to this safe space, be transparent, be
That's right.
vulnerable, and say, listen, this is a thing that I am challenged with, and I need to move past it. I need to overcome it, whatever the case may be. What advice do you have? What strategies do you have? You know, that type of thing. And so I'm super excited to see that. I will tell you, we are a group of, let's see, right now we are 148 strong. I can
Yes.
tell you that I see, and I'm not a numbers person as far as, oh, we have to have, thousands and thousands of people, but I do know the vision for this group that I have seen is in the thousands, hundreds of thousands. And then it is
Mhm.
a network hub. We're just starting out. We're
Yes.
literally just starting out. And the people that stay and rock with me and, we go continue to forge ahead, there's amazingness, but there's a journey. It can't happen within the next 30 days. This is just not going to happen. We would fail epically if we try to make what I see here happen within the next 30 days. So what you're saying as far as being being patient is really key. Hi, hello. I can't see who you are. Let me see if I can see over here who this is.
Hello. We have to trust the process because
Absolutely.
it's important, because if we don't, it's okay because things ebb and flow,
Mm,
but we can't just be like, oh, okay, we're gonna be here, we're gonna take, it, and it's fine to have to have goals, but we always have to remember that dreams, what I'm saying, we can't just have dreams and not goals. We
mhm.
have to have dreams plus goals, and
That's
that will
good.
help us to get to that next point. So
That is so good. We have to have dreams and goals. So that's Katina. Katina says, hi, everyone. Hey, Katina, thank you so very much for joining. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to drop them in the comment section. So the next question, next to last question is, we talk often about juggling this thing of work-life balance. What's your take on it? And do you have routines that keep you on track?
I do. Um, first thing in the morning is I always work out. That's literally the first thing I do. Um, and you have to have that time to pour in to yourself. I'm a writer, so I'm constantly pouring. I'm a wife, so I'm constantly pouring. I'm in my church, so I'm constantly pouring. And so when I get up in the morning and I get my workout in and I get my meditation in, and I'm like, and I just have that minute of woosah, what I'm saying? That minute where I'm like, okay, what is my day looking like? What am I declaring for my day?
Ooh, that's good.
And when I know what I'm declaring for that day, I'm like, okay, all right. And then I come out and I'm like, all right, let's go. Let's go. And now I'm on level 20 for the rest of the day.
Mhm.
So you have to make sure you're pouring into yourself. I think sometimes as entrepreneurs, we're so busy pouring, but we're not busy taking things in for ourselves, and we get dehydrated quick.
Mhm. That is so good.
We cannot get dehydrated, because there is, being an entrepreneur, to whom much is given, much is required.
Mhm.
And we have to make sure we are good first. And it's
Mhm.
not being selfish, it's being smart, because if we walk around here and we're not full, then how are we going to bless the people that are being appointed to come into our businesses? And how are we going to treat them?
That is so good. And you know, the one thing that you said, Renee, when you do these things and then you come out and you're on 20, you know, you think about how you elevate yourself doing the things that are necessary, making sure you're hydrated. And let's just be clear, when she says hydrated, she doesn't necessarily mean natural water. She's talking about all of the things that keep you where you need to be. If it's working out, meditation, prayer, whatever the case may be, keeping yourself up here and hydrated. And so when you think about being up there as different little things, the foxes that come to spoil the vine, when they try to come and they try to kick your feet out from up under you, even though they may do it once, it doesn't matter because you're all the way up here. And so then the next one that tries to come, you know, you're still pouring into yourself, and so you don't get all the way down to the bottom.
Right.
Oh, I love this. I absolutely love this. So Amy says, I love thinking of it as being hydrated. That resonates with me. Absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
We must take care of ourselves, because if we don't, then I can tell when I'm not at level 20, I can tell,
Yeah.
because I'm like, and I notice how I treat other people that
Mm.
are around me, and I'm like, ooh, and I have to pull myself to the side and be like, Renee, you're not right. You're not right. Take some time. You know, you have to take that time, and it's beneficial for us, because we moving, we
Yeah,
jogging, we have so many hats.
exactly.
But that first hat that we have to that stays on is who we are. I
Right.
look in the mirror every day and I'm Renee.
Yeah,
No matter if I am not the writer or I'm not the wife, I'll wake up first and I'm Renee. I
exactly.
got to make sure Renee has enough in her, so I can bless Miss Amy over here, so I can bless you. Like, I want to make sure
Absolutely.
it's Karina, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yes. All right. I want to get that correct. So I want to treat you guys like the queens you are, and I can't do that if I am dehydrated.
Exactly. Exactly. And Katina says, I used to feel guilty, but now I know better. Absolutely. So Renee,
Excellent.
the next question is looking back, is there a piece of advice or a lesson that you want people to learn from that you can share um, about really when you embarked on your entrepreneurial journey?
Do not let anybody, and I repeat, do not let anybody try to steal what is within you.
Mm,
Now, I am, let's see, I come from a long line of teachers, educators in my family. Whoo! And everybody asked me, Renee, you gonna be a teacher? And I was like, no, Renee does not want to be a teacher. I wanted to go into social sciences, but I said, but here I am, entrepreneur. I don't have anybody else in my family that is an entrepreneur. Everybody has worked 9 to 5s. There's nothing wrong with that. But here I am, second generation, and I'm saying I'm going to have my own thing. And for
mm,
some of my family, they were like, well, you just need a job. And it was different. And I had to constantly be like, well, what my purpose is different than yours. Do not let anybody steal what is on the inside of you.
mm,
If you have this vision and you have this, and you know that it is a God idea, follow through with it no matter what anybody says, because you're going to come in contact with people that are going to help that to grow even more, and then it becomes a big tree with few roots at the bottom. Do
mhm.
not let anybody steal it. You just be like, okay, not everyone's going to understand you. People don't understand me, and that's okay. I'm just kind of like, I'm going to keep doing what I'm going to do. And you're going to see me and be like, all right, right, Renee. She said, yeah, because I'm not gonna let anybody try to abort what I am pregnant with. And I mean that from a spiritual standpoint, not natural yet, because I'm not a mama yet, but I'm not gonna do it. It's gonna come between you or me. And guess what? I'm gonna choose me
Mm-hmm.
because I need this so I can be able to bless other people. So
Absolutely.
don't let anybody hinder you. You just got to go ahead for yourself.
And you know,
It'll come. They'll be all right.
absolutely. Amy says, "Preach, girl." And so I want to share this. I heard this earlier today. I'm sure everybody has heard of Alex Hormozy, but he also does motivational messages and different things like that. And so he was talking at one point in time about how he had his gym that he had opened years ago, and he was basically homeless. He had nowhere to go. He was pushing, trying to get that gym up off the ground. He was living out of the gym.
Mm.
He had a pillow and a blanket over in the corner, and the clients would come in and they'd be like, you can do it, you can do it, just push, keep going, keep going, keep going, you're doing great. And they would encourage him, and they would push him, they would motivate him, and they wanted to see him do great. He said, but then after the business started growing and he had to hire people, he had to hire a team, he had to hire this person, he had to hire that person. And then he started to notice that when he would come into the building, those same people would say, oh, it's the big man, it's the big boss, let me get out the way. And he said, wait a minute, you were the ones that were celebrating me and motivating me and encouraging me. Now you're the one that's trying to pull me down and strip me. And I said, you know what? We got to be careful with this right here, whether it's good or bad. We got to be so very careful because people will flip on us. They will change immediately.
Oh, it's true. Because if you want to see if people really really support you, start doing good. Start
Yeah,
doing good, and really see what people will say about you then.
absolutely.
Because but then yeah, some people that even when you're down, they want to keep you down. They don't even want you to try to ascend. But then sometimes you have those people that you were talking about. You keep growing, and they're like, oh, look at Miss Karina coming in with her cute with her hair like that. Okay,
Right. Wow.
but
So, Renee, thank you so very much for these amazing and incredible insights. We truly, truly appreciate it. So, now what we want to do is hear more about any current offerings or services, products that you have, and how you're making a difference in your client's life.
ooh, one thing that I have is I do for some people, if you guys don't like to write, I do short blogs. Those are just any niche that you have, even if you have a financial business up to an education doesn't. I like to be challenged, so I do those for $100. But if you want a long, like you want a page or two, that's 300. Um, but yeah, I write in for a magazine called Divine Connections, and that's a Christian-based magazine. It's awesome. She comes out quarterly,
Okay.
and I love to do that because she's North Carolina native, and I like to be able to pour into the people in the community. So that's probably one of my favorite things I love to write.
I love
Faith-based, because I'm a faith-based person, so
that.
I'm like it comes out, but
Absolutely.
but yeah, I do those. But if you have any questions, and if you want to talk to me about a book or helping you do some blogs for your website, I love doing things like that. So
Awesome. So, Renee, I am going to ask you, as I've asked the others, if you would, once we're done, if you would drop in the comments your website, and I'll get that put into the caption. Um, And so, really, I want to thank you. This has been absolutely enlightening. It's been amazing. I'm always inspired by the journeys and successes of specifically womenpreneurs. It reminds me really of um, how we can link arms and really go for what we know we're supposed to be doing. And so, I do want to offer within the community. If you are feeling inspired by today's conversation and you need a little bit more guidance, you need to really have you sit down and you say, you know what, Karina, I want some of those things. I want to feel that urgency. I want to feel that that way of being able to look further ahead. I do offer a pick my brain session. It's a consulting session. It's 90 minutes and it is transformative. So if you are looking to get some type of clarity, strategy, all those good things, then please go over to my website, www.gobegreatcoaching.com, and you can see in the products, pick my brain session, 90 minutes. And for the introverts, listen, for the introverts, I know this is a commitment because sitting with somebody for 90 minutes, say, what now? But I can tell you, some people say it's a gift. Some people say it's discernment. Some people say it's intuition. I don't really care what you call it. I honestly don't care, but I can tell you that you will walk away with something. You will walk away with clarity. You will walk away with strategy. So schedule that 90-minute pick my brain session with me. And I'm gonna tell you, it's not free, but it's worth it. It's not free, but it's worth it. So I would love to hear you all's thoughts about what resonated with you on about Renee's journey. This has been fantastic. And this has only been about 30 minutes.
Wow,
So
what a blessing.
30 minutes of her journey, of her life. And so imagine what you can get if you just sit down with her and say, Renee, tell me more. So I really admonish you to reach out to Renee, connect with her if you need her services, or if you just need some inspiration. She's there for you. I can tell you all that. I see her. I see her. She is available. She is
I
on
know.
duty. She is on duty. I can tell you that this woman is on duty. So thank you all. A big thank you all. Thank you to Renee for being here, sharing your journey with us. And so until next time, everybody, keep rising, keep thriving, keep shining. Please keep rising, keep thriving, keep shining. Embrace every challenge that you have and turn them into opportunities. So I will see you all next time. We do have another one today at 4:30. So I'll see you then. Bye, everybody.
Bye.